Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out, episode 389. Hope you're all doing great today. And ciao from Italy. I'm here in Milan for Design Week, this year focusing on the theme of Mondi Connessi, or Connected Worlds, featuring collaborations between design leaders and fashion brands, architects and furniture companies. Really interesting, really cool stuff. But technology also proved to be a pillar at this year's Design Week, the 63rd annual event. In fact, it shined a light on the convergence of digital and physical experiences, including global tech companies that were showing off their wares at various events and installations across the northern Italian metropolis. ASUS, a global computer manufacturer, best known for its Zenbook laptops, was a key exhibitor here, hosting a showcase called Design You Can Feel at Galleria Meravigli. It's a historic century-old gallery in the heart of the city. And so to kick off today's Tech It Out, I'll chat with a designer and engineer and founder of a UK-based studio called ENI. Her name is Nassia Inglessis, and she worked with ASUS to create an installation that is super cool. Hard to do it justice with a radio show or podcast, but we'll do our best to describe this installation. And after a quick chat with Nassia, we're going to talk with Galip Fu from ASUS to chat about Design Week. Again, ASUS's Zenbook laptops were an inspiration for this installation, and these laptops have a proprietary material called Ceraluminum, and we're going to chat about that, as well as some laptops that emit fragrances into the air, kind of like an oil diffuser. Wild stuff. Also on Tech It Out today, we'll learn about Husqvarna's latest robotic lawnmowers called the IQ series. And tech expert Mario Armstrong will join us to chat about Adobe AI and how it can help you understand contracts, summarize them for you, and a lot more. Very cool stuff. All of this and more on an all-new Tech It Out powered by Visa. Securing the world's payments is priority one. I'll tell you more about Visa's anti-fraud efforts shortly, but let's officially kick off a brand new show with our first interview. All right, so I wanted to start today's Tech It Out with an interview with designer and engineer Nassia Inglessis. She's the one who created Willful Wonder, that huge installation at Milan's Design Week, with her UK-based company called Studio ENI, and it was inspired by ASUS Zenbook laptops, known for its innovative, lightweight design and proprietary Ceraluminum material to create a very cool, almost living sculpture. It kind of looked like a narrow catwalk, and when you walk down it, these silver-like blades or wings open up to let you pass, and they kind of curve to your body closely as you walk past them. You can touch those wings as well, made with Ceraluminum, that same, again, hybrid of ceramic and aluminum found in laptops. And when you're finished walking down this installation, an AI-generated video is created based on how you interacted with this living sculpture as you walk down its spine. Really surreal. And so here's a quick chat with Nassia from Studio ENI while in Milan to chat about her project with ASUS. So Nassia, this is a beautiful exhibit. Is this the first time you've collaborated with a technology company, a computer company? And what was the impetus for this collaboration?
Well, we shared a lot of common values in wanting to innovate in how we craft with materials to create very unique experiences. In my practice, I basically use technology in a way of what I call creating an embodied intelligence. An intelligence which is embodied in the material, it's embodied in the structure to create a new experience in our physical reality. It feels very analog, but the technology is really embedded in how the materials have been crafted. And in a similar way, ASUS with the Ceraluminum, which they innovated on aluminum to ceramicize it, how they blended in the design of their product, it brought all those elements to coincide, and how they consider and work with artificial intelligence computation and in a way that then is manifested in a very experiential manner was overlap for us.
And what emotions were you looking to evoke from participants or even spectators?
Well, there's an element of surprise. You have complete agency of what is happening. It's all emanating from your body. There's a seamless connection between the human and its physical environment, but also a notion of a very sensorial notion in the tactility of touching the Ceraluminum, but in the visual element of this duality between the public space and the private. So in a way, it's an amplifier of your presence. Once you walk through, it's almost like a megaphone to your presence. But when you're within it, you feel very concealed and within a cocoon. So I think we all live through this experience of between the private and the public, the reflective and the willingness to connect. And we playfully, this physically basically manipulates the fabric of the architecture of the space to wander between those two states. And the Galleria Meravigli means Galleria of Wonder, hence the piece Willful Wonder as well.
Is it a coincidence that it's Design Week and part of the installation feels or looks like a catwalk?
It is and it isn't.
That was not intentional?
It was not intentional. There is a corridor catwalk-like to it. I think the intention is more this sense, first of all, working with the symmetry of the space itself, because it's created for the space, but also this sense that you're opening up the pathway yourself. You're creating space where there isn't space.
It's almost like a metamorphosis, if I may.
Yes, it is. And it almost to feel, it's so close to your body and in its narrow way, and you're opening it up to feel almost like an exoskeleton, an extension of the human body. It's sort of thinking about architecture more as really an extension of ourselves and something that's imposed and we need to fit into.
I like that. Thank you so much for your time. Wonderful to meet you, chat with you.
Thank you very much.
Next up on Tech It Out, I chatted with Galip Fu. He is the marketing director for ASUS globally when it comes to consumer PCs. And I also spoke with him at Milan Design Week in the back area of this gallery where this installation that you just heard about was. And so without further ado, here is more about this artistic piece, what's new in laptops, and the importance of design in computing. So I'm here with Galip Fu. He is marketing director for ASUS Consumer PCs. Pleasure to see you here in Milan. This is a wonderful event you're hosting. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, great to see you again.
Likewise. Yeah, it's been about 9 months since I saw you in Berlin at IFA. Yeah. So let's talk about this exhibit and then how it's tied to ASUS. Mm-hmm. So what are we doing here at this gallery?
Yeah, so we're having our Design You Can Feel World Tour in Milano. So we started this world tour since last September in London. Now we bring the exhibition with a lot of new elements, especially the installation by Studio INI. That's the spotlight of the show which you just saw. So that's something new that we bring to Milan this time. So the Design You Can Feel exhibition is all about to explore and to explain our philosophy in design, especially in technology design area. So because over the past years, right, people know that ASUS, we are a great PC manufacturer from motherboard, from monitor, from gaming PC to laptop. Over the year, we've been telling people and try to explain to people how we make our product, right? But then a lot of media and also a lot of community, they also rose the question about how we design our product, especially how we design specifically laptop product, because for them or for most of the people, actually this is the area that they normally cannot access this type of information easily. That's the I think that's our initial inspiration and motivation to start this Design You Can Feel World Tour, really to showcase in a way, that people can really not only touch, but only can see, but only can hear, or even smell, and to really understand the process and also the design philosophy of our ASUS design thinking. Yeah.
All right, so it's called Design You Can Feel. That's the name of the campaign, if you will, or this art exhibit here at this gallery in central Milan, in partnership with a London, UK-based design studio called Studio Ini. You've commissioned this interactive and multi-sensory exhibit. Because this is a radio or a podcast, can you explain what we're seeing? It takes place inside a long gallery. It is almost like a catwalk, if you will, like you would see at a design or fashion show, but it has these wings that move with the body. Please explain.
Well, it's really difficult for me to describe it through words, but then I think the initial inspiration is from mimosa, the plant. And this same inspiration of mimosa is also part of our inspiration of Zen and also Zenbook, because for Zenbook, it's a very delicate design machine, and also when it comes to privacy, for personal computer, it's also important. Mimosa is like, when you touch the mimosa, it close up like that, right? So we discussed with Studio Ini and Nassia, and how to integrate this type of concept, into her artwork. Then she came out with this masterpiece, which just simply wow.
Wow, indeed. If you're online, do a search for ASUS, which is ASUS, Milan Design Week, and you're going to be able to see this installation. More with Galip Fu from ASUS when we return on Tech It Out. Stay with us.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. I'm here in Milan, in northern Italy at Design Week, sitting down with Galip Fu. He is with ASUS, a renowned computer company. They were the inspiration behind an artistic installation at a gallery here for Design Week, created by Studio Ini in the UK. The event is called Design You Can Feel, and the installation itself is called Willful Wonder. And it's kind of like a catwalk that you can walk down, but there are these wings or blades that open up as you walk past and then almost hug your body as you walk past them, and then they close behind you. It's really magical. And before the break, we heard from Nassia, the designer, on this piece. And now we've pivoted and we're chatting with Galip about the connection to computers in this material called Ceraluminum that blends ceramic and aluminum. So let's continue that chat with Galip in Milan.
If you look at not only the silhouette and also the overall shape of the installation, but also the details of the design of the installation, it's just a craftsmanship of mechanical engineering, just like our laptop. So we feel that with that installation, it's a great way for people to really experience the type of Zen design and also Zen philosophy just through the installation. So we feel that it's a great partnership, and we are really, really honored to work with her and also Zen, to come up with this great exhibition for people to understand our design thinking.
At the core of much of your design, at least here at the show, is a proprietary material called Ceraluminum. This can only be found in ASUS computers. Can you explain what this is and what is unique about this material?
Yes, I try to keep it simple and short, but then the technical term of the Ceraluminum is called PEO, plasma electric oxidation. Basically, we put the single piece of aluminum into the oxidation process, and during the process, we use 700 voltage of current to make it. And also during the process, we add some of the ceramic element into it, so that the outcome, is just like its name. It's aluminum plus ceramic. So it is as durable and also light, just like aluminum, but at the same time, when you touch and feel it, it just as delicate as ceramic. So we want to bring the best part of two worlds together and for the end user to carry around.
All right, so this is already available on many of your Zenbooks. It's also smudge and scratch free. Yes. And you also have these exclusive color variants as well, which is not using paint, from what I understand. How do you achieve color without paint?
Well, through the
it's the oxidation process,
yes,
right?
Correct. With the different level of control of the oxidation process, then we can then try to fine-tune the different level of colors, that you can see. Yeah. But it's really not easy. So, for example, for the Ceraluminum Special Edition that we just saw, there's 4, right? But then
Signature Edition, you unveiled here at the show, yeah.
Yes, and the process is really, it took a lot of effort, around 1 year for our design center to try and experiment all the possible process to come up with those colors.
Why is design important to ASUS? Like you touched on, there's always been so much focus on power or security. Now AI is the big buzzword. Every computer company is saying we have the smartest, the fastest laptops. Why is design important?
Yeah, that's a very good question. But I think that the question should be why not? Because, come on, laptop, it's a very, very personal device, right? We call it personal computer, so it's supposed to be very personal. It's something that no matter what is your job or, what is your age, it is something that you will carry around with you a lot of time, just like your phone. Just why not? So why don't we just make it prettier and also to match your style? I think that is also the part we cannot figure out, because we know that in this industry, or some of our competitors, they just don't focus on this part of innovation, for a long time. But from our point of view, we just love it. It's supposed to be good looking. And so over the years, we also try out some different materials, to meet that purpose. Like decades ago, we have the bamboo edition. We also try out the bamboo material on the laptop, and also now to Ceraluminum. It's our endless journey, in this exploration. Yeah.
And then finally, in the Chinese market, you also have PCs that have smell or scent. Please tell us a bit about that. That's also here in Milan, but I've seen it at the Consumer Electronics Show as well. Yes. Please explain to our listeners how you've incorporated scents or aroma inside of these computers or laptops.
Because in ASUS, in our design thinking philosophy, we want to really to understand, what people may need, even though it can be a little bit niche, but just like I mentioned earlier, right, then why not? Because I think for this part of market, especially in Chinese, for young female, there's a certain part of demographic, who pay attention to this type of design details. So we were brainstorming about then in this very competitive market, then how can we do a little bit more, to provide something special and something that no one has tried before. So we came up with this idea, and we thought that why don't we, try to integrate some of the fragrance, onto our laptop. The idea, the concept of it is actually easy, right? It's a simple idea. Why not?
All right, Galip Fu, Marketing Director for ASUS Consumer PCs. Great to see you here in Milan, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your show. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Hope to see you very soon.
Laptops that are like oil diffusers. Who would have known? ASUS in China. Anyways, very cool. When we return on Tech It Out, we're going to learn all about robotic lawnmowers with the leader in this category, Husqvarna. Stick with us. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality, Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We cover cybersecurity a lot on this program and how you can best protect yourself in the digital age, even if you're not super tech savvy. One part of the solution is securely shopping online. And so I'm thrilled about my partnership with Visa on Tech It Out, as they've made some significant investments in fraud prevention over the past 5 years, as much as $10 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B, to support Visa's brand promise to protect the financial information of individuals and businesses. Zero liability means peace of mind when you shop online using your Visa card. There can be no half measures when it comes to cybersecurity, which is why the company takes an aggressive and multi-layered approach to combating the rising threat of malicious software and other threats by well-funded and global criminal enterprises. Read more about Visa and how securing the world's payments is priority one at visa.com/security. That's visa.com/security. Just as you may have a RoboVac to vacuum or mop your floors on the inside of your home, more and more homeowners today are investing in a robotic lawnmower for outside your home. On what separates Husqvarna from the pack, and to tell us about the all-new Husqvarna Automower IQ series, which just debuted, we're joined on the line by Chris Price. He's Senior Robotics Engineering Manager at Husqvarna. Thanks for your time, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
I was at the Husqvarna headquarters in Charlotte, North Carolina, about 2 years ago. It was awesome to see your facility there. So tell us about Husqvarna and its foray into the robotic mowing category 30 years ago, which I think a lot of people would have a hard time believing it's been that long.
Yeah, people are often surprised by that. It's a pretty cool journey for us. Husqvarna was actually founded in 1689 in Sweden, so we've been around a very long time. And over the years, the centuries, really, we've been around. We've always been kind of a world-leading manufacturer of different types of innovative products. Ranging from all manner of things. Most recently, our core focus is around outdoor power products, lawn and garden, park green space management, and that's kind of what led us into robotic lawnmowers in the 90s. We launched our first edition of the Automower, I think it was 1995. Kind of the first to enter this space and been the world leader for a very long time, kind of always innovating with that in the robotic mower space. We started out in the late 90s, and then I think over the years, we've seen this massive growth and popularity, starting in Europe and now really starting to pick up in North America.
You've held on to that dominance as there's been more and more competition, let's face it, over the last couple of years especially. So what would you say separates Husqvarna from the competition? And then let's pivot and then talk about the new Automower, which is your consumer brand of Husqvarna robot lawnmowers, and the new IQ series.
So we've been the world leader, like I said, for 30 years. For a long time, the kind of core technology was what we call this boundary wire system. And so what that means in a really short summary is that you've got to be able to tell the mower where to go. You want to keep it on your grass. You don't want it off mowing your flower beds. You don't want it running into the road. And so for years, what we did was we had a wire buried in the ground around the perimeter of your grass. And this was a very reliable system. It was very elegant in its kind of technology level. It required very little processing power of the mowers, very little intelligence, and it was very reliable to keep the mowers inside. But the downsides of that were obviously that it's labor intensive to put this wire in the ground. It means you have to have it in the ground, which, for different lawn care practices could be problematic. That was a real barrier for a long time, I think, to grow the market at a really large rate. And so the big innovation in the space came a few years ago. We were the first company to launch RTK-based mowers at scale. And so RTK is real-time kinematics. It's basically very high accurate satellite navigation-based movement. And so we call it our EPOS system. That's our proprietary term for it. RTK is general technology. We launched that 2019, 2020. Our first models hit the market globally. And that really revolutionized the whole space because it means that we no longer needed the wire in the ground to define the boundary. It's all done virtually. So you map the whole area with the robot itself. It saves it based on satellite positioning. And that also enabled a lot of really cool features in the machines because now we have 2 centimeter precise accuracy of where the mower is. So previously the mower had GPS in it, but it was really more for asset tracking. It was like your typical GPS that has 3 to 6 foot, a couple meter accuracy. So you knew if somebody stole it, but it couldn't tell the difference between your lawn and your flower bed. And now we can. And so we can map out things really precisely. And a huge benefit is we can actually mow in systematic patterns, meaning we can mow stripes with a very precise overlap across your yard, whereas we used to move randomly. The main benefit there is it's obviously a much more efficient way to mow. But of course, now you have the added benefit of look that everybody is always chasing in their yards, those perfectly striped lines. That is something that we rolled out a few years ago and is now pushing across our entire product lineup and across the whole industry at large is moving this way. And so that's been a huge, I would say, catalyst in the growth of robotic mowers over the last couple of years.
All right. So no longer needing a perimeter wire or boundary wire. You can now create patterns. You want it to have like stripes, like a baseball diamond. Go for it. Really cool. And there's also the ability to handle multiple lawn shapes and sizes and steep slopes and obstacles like flower beds and garden gnomes and all. So I know Husqvarna does a really good job with all those extra little things, those details that some other robo lawnmower companies may overlook.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that we get with 30 years of experience is that we know everything about the yard and, what are the challenges that a robot faces, that even though now we have all of this extra technology, the environment is still the same. And so we really have a deep understanding of what does it take to operate in these spaces and what does it take to make a reliable and durable machine that delivers the quality of cut that people are looking for.
Just to be clear, there's no bag like a lawnmower that you would push manually, even if it's like a, electric lawnmower. This cuts or trims the grass and it leaves it on top to fertilize the lawn even further. Is that fair? Like it just cuts the top of it and you can adjust the height, but it doesn't collect the grass in clippings that you have to then dispose of.
Yeah, that's totally correct. And it's a very common question we get. And what I like to tell people is that what we really call this is a maintenance mower more than a lawnmower. What that means is that because it's a robot, because it's fully automated, it charges itself, it runs on its own schedule. You don't have to be responsible for telling it to go out and cut. There's no real downside to it cutting more frequently than you would normally if you were actually doing it yourself.
Yeah, even at night because it's quiet, right? It's electric. You can't hear it like a gas-based lawnmower. Your neighbors are not going to like that at 2 a.m. if it's a gas-based mower.
Yeah, and with this, they'll never know.
More with Husqvarna. When we return, we are learning about the new IQ series, the Automower IQ series of robotic lawnmowers and what's new. We'll continue learning about its new features, how it stacks up against the competition. So stick with us. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. If you're just joining us now, I'm chatting with Chris Price, Senior Robotics Engineering Manager at Husqvarna. We're learning all about the 400-year-old company's latest Automower IQ series. So these are robotic lawnmowers that will autonomously cut your grass for you, wire-free, no longer needing that ground wire or perimeter wire to be installed under your lawn. It does its thing via GPS. We're learning how it can handle steep slopes, large properties. And just before the break, Chris was telling us how, because it's electric, it can even run at night. It's super quiet. And so, Chris, what does that mean exactly?
What that means is that we can run as often as we need to. And generally with the Automower line, we say, it should run a few times a week. And the main benefit there is obviously you have, your lawn is always cut. So that's the beautiful thing about this is that you don't have where, okay, you mow your lawn on Saturday morning. It looks awesome on Saturday and Sunday. And then as the week goes on, it gets longer. We actually kind of continually run. And depending on which type of grass you are, where you are in the world, what kind of climate you have kind of dictate how often you need to mow. And of course, how big the area is. But generally, we have people running these a minimum 3 days a week, up to 7 days a week. And that is what leads to the fact that we don't need to collect because you're never really taking off that much of the grass. It's always an eighth of an inch, a couple millimeters, however you want to say it. Like you say, that drops into the ground. Those small clippings actually dissolve and return the nutrients to the soil very quickly. It's the same concept you would get from a mulching system on a typical lawnmower, but we call this like micro mulching, right? Because it's such a frequent and small amount of clippings. And the main, great benefit of that is it's not very stressful on the grass. Like when you go and you only mow every 7 to 10 days, you're taking off a lot of organic material from a living thing, and it can be stressful for it. And so this is actually giving nutrients back and fertilizing constantly, and also not stressing it as much.
Yeah, I remember learning about that at Husqvarna HQ in Charlotte. Tell us a bit about the app. It is called the Husqvarna Automower IQ, so it suggests intelligence. So you can just set it and forget it, but you can also use your smartphone or a smart speaker to control it too, if you want.
That's correct. So the app that we use to interface with the IQ series and with all of the Automowers, it's called the Automower Connect app. And it is, it's really part of the product. This isn't kind of a companion app or anything like that. It is your main interface with the machine. And especially now that we have our EPOS technology, this boundary wire free, now the virtual setup process is all done through your app. And so that's the main functionality of it, is this initial setup and install. And then of course, any modifications you want to make along the way. So let's say when you first map it, you have something in your yard, you have a flower bed or something, and then you get rid of it. Later in the map, you can go in and edit it on your phone, and you can just get rid of it. You can delete that area when you're ready to mow it again, or vice versa. But of course, this is your interface to the machine to set the schedule, to set the cut height. You can have complete control over the machine from anywhere. So all of our IQ series has cellular connectivity and Wi-Fi. So if you are far away from the machine and the machine's far from your house, doesn't have Wi-Fi, it still has cellular connectivity. So if, let's say, you have somebody coming over, you have a contractor coming over, you want to park the machine and it's out mowing, you whip out your phone, you say, go ahead and park. Or you're out, like, hey, I want to make sure my lawn's cut. I got friends coming over tonight. Or I just want to start the mower so they can see it. You can, from anywhere in the world, you can go ahead and start it up. And then you can interface, like say, with the smart home systems, you can set it so you can have your whatever smart home assistant of choice. You say, hey, Automower, start mowing my lawn, or pause the Automower, stuff like that. And so it is really a connected device top to bottom.
All right. There's so much we didn't even get to, but I know the website Husqvarna.com has a lot more things, like the safety features that are baked in, the fact that it's weatherproof, it can operate in the rain, how big of a property it can handle. I know with the IQ series, it could be up to 2 acres, which is awesome. And of course, there's some attachments and optional accessories that you can go with. It's all at Husqvarna.com.
Yep. That'll get you where you need to go.
All right. Again, it's the Husqvarna Automower IQ series, brand new, debuted in April. We've been chatting with Chris Price. Thank you so much for your time, Chris. Congrats on the launch of the Automower IQ series and continued success with this, almost 400-year-old company. Thanks again.
Thanks, Mark.
Before we continue on with the show, I wanted to give a shout out to SanDisk, an extraordinary partner on this program. The new SanDisk Creator Series is a line of storage solutions designed specifically for content creators, the driving force behind the content that we consume online, from videos and blog posts to podcasts and social media updates. These external SanDisk SSDs and other flash-based products help to streamline the creative workflow from start to finish. There are 5 main features of the SanDisk Creator Series. Number 1, high speeds. Plug-and-play solutions that offer fast read and write speeds, ensuring smooth workflows and quick transfers of large files. Number 2, durability. These products are designed to withstand the rigors of on-the-go use, with features like drop protection and resistance to water and dust. Number 3, portability. This SanDisk series includes several portable SSDs and other flash drives, making it easy to take your storage with you wherever you go. Number 4, compatibility. These SanDisk products are designed to work with a range of devices, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, desktops, cameras, and more. And number 5, high capacity. There's no longer a trade-off between the durability of solid-state drives and capacity for those who need a lot of storage, as you can have it all, now with drives that can store several terabytes of data. More info is at sandisk.com/creator. That's sandisk.com/creator. Coming up next on Tech It Out, we talk with tech lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong about a new Adobe AI feature that will not only break down a contract for you in plain English, but summarize it for you so you know what you're signing. Now that sounds handy. More Tech It Out coming right up after this short break.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
You ever skipped reading a contract's fine print? Well, most of us have. Even if you did take the time to read it, chances are you didn't understand the legalese. Anyway, a new survey by Adobe reveals that nearly 70% of us sign contracts without knowing what's inside. But there's help. Adobe announced new intelligent contract capabilities in Acrobat AI Assistant, which uses the power of artificial intelligence to summarize, simplify, and highlight key details in your contracts. To break it all down for us, we're joined on the line by digital lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong. Hey, Mario, thanks for your time today. Please tell us how this works.
Well, look, man, thanks first off, Mark, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to be working with Adobe on this announcement. So how this works is contract intelligence in AI Assistant. It really does simplify contracts. I use this myself, and what it does is it can give you a quick overview, it can answer your questions, it can simplify tricky legal terms, and you can even compare different versions of contracts. You can spot like important details, things that you may not normally catch that would save you time and potential surprises. And it also includes a citation. So like if you see a citation, you can then click on that to go deeper into the agreement or the contract where that is to verify the response or dig in to read more. It's kind of like having this personal assistant that helps you understand and simplify like your everyday contracts.
All right, so Adobe Acrobat is the software and AI Assistant is a feature within it. And who would you say then could benefit from this primarily?
I mean, honestly, just about anyone. Talked about this. 70% of people sign contracts without fully understanding them. But get this, Mark, most are caught off guard by the terms after signing. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm going to be honest, that's me. Like there have been plenty of times when I've signed some things and then I thought about it after the fact, right? So these new capabilities are perfect for people who really want to save time or feel more confident about what they're actually signing. Now, I want to caution people, this isn't something that will replace an attorney, but it's perfect for everyday things. Like, for example, we're at the top of the new year. A lot of people are signing up for gym memberships. They want to get fit. Or maybe they're signing up for a new cell phone plan for the family. Those kinds of agreements, they're long, they can be complicated. Who feels like reading all that stuff? With the new contract intelligence, you can quickly spot those hard to find details, things like initiation and cancellation fees, or like when's the renewal coming up for this? What are my renewal terms? Mm-hmm. And plus, one of the things I really like too, Mark, is that you can compare the contracts. So maybe you're looking at different gyms and you're debating on which one to go with, or different wireless carriers to figure out which one is best for you and your family. The fact that you can compare contracts is something that I've never seen before. And even if you're doing bigger investments like buying a car, you could compare financing contracts from different dealerships and flag extra charges like warranties or service add-ons. And if you're looking to buy a home, mortgages or loan agreements, those things are long, lots of pages, and it can clarify the interest rates, the payment schedules, the penalties, which would really just help you avoid surprises. My biggest thing, or I say maybe two things that I really like after I was using it, was I love the one-click summaries to just summarize the whole thing for me, and then I love the easy comparisons. Those were my two favorite features.
Wow, it sounds like there's a lot of applications for this. I did think of wireless carriers as I was introducing this topic with you, but yeah, so many others. Buying a home. I mean, really, our work contracts that we have, Mario, you know, with our clients.
Yep, I mean, I was even looking at proposals. So I was looking at vendors to hire. So maybe you're having a wedding and you're looking at vendor agreements. So many different reasons why you could say, let me compare this and let me look at the fine print and have this really help me be able to do this.
We're learning about the new intelligent contract capabilities in Acrobat. This is a popular piece of software from Adobe. Digital lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong is explaining it to us. And this kind of begs the question, though. I love that it can parse through the data and it can give you summaries and simplify all this legalese and all that. But what about the data itself? What about the security and privacy? These could be confidential contracts, for example. What's being done with this information?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up because obviously this is going to be paramount, and security and privacy are non-negotiable for Adobe. Your data stays fully protected and it's never used to train their AI models, which is great.
All right, Mario. So how can people get started? So if they already have Adobe Acrobat, as I have it, for example, installed on my computer, this AI assistant, is it something that you have to download on top of this software or is it already built in?
Yeah, it was already built in. When I use Acrobat, it's already there. So if you really want to understand how to verify information in your contracts faster and easier, all you got to do is go to adobe.com/Acrobat.
All right, adobe.com/Acrobat. Mario, always great to chat with you. Thanks so much for breaking this all down for us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mark. I hope this helps a lot of people.
I suspect it will. Thanks, Mario. All right. And thank you to you, Tech It Out listeners across the country for tuning in, whether it's on your local talk radio station or in podcast form. I'm thrilled to have you along, hopefully each and every week as we do this, and we will return next week with brand new interviews and content. But signing off from Italy in Milan, I'm Mark Saltzman. Hit me up on social media if you want to say hi or if you have any tech questions or anything. You can find me on virtually all platforms. It's Mark with a C, Saltzman with a Z. Ciao, everyone. Be well. Bye-bye for now.